From Arizona Benefit Specialist Arcwood Consulting, we have.
Sir.
What?
I just said yes, sir. Yeah, sorry.
And your
Didn't
name
mean
is
to throw
what,
you.
please?
Peter Rowe, sir.
Peter Rowe, and you have a guest with you
I
this
do
morning.
have a guest with me this morning. Her name is Diana.
Good
And,
morning.
hi, Diana.
Yeah, Diana's our she's the president of our HR company, and just kind of in today's environment and turmoil, we thought it'd be a good idea just to come on the show and just say a little words about maybe how employers can kind of be reacting to the situation. So that's kind of our focus.
You're going to
today.
find just about every employer that exists has to react somehow to
Yes,
this.
yes, you
Yeah.
absolutely do.
All right, so
Yeah.
carry on and let's do that with Diana since she's here.
Well transitioned, sir. Well transitioned. So really, our objective today is just to kind of reiterate what resources are available to employers, because employers are making a lot of decisions right now. Some of them have kind of business continuation preparedness. Some may not. So really, our focus is just make sure people know where to go for resources. There are some changes that are happening in some legislation, so we're going to brief about that a little bit. Implementing a work from home policy if that's available. What are some things that employers should be thinking about for that? And then, if we have some extra time at the end, we'll kind of talk about some of the things that Ducey's done on his executive order, and then also what some of the reactions have been from the insurance companies. So really, I think where we want to start off is just kind of acknowledging that this is a stressful time. Individuals are running with very little information. I mean, we get an enormous amount of information, but a lot of it is sound bites, and we're not able to kind of dig into some of the details. And really, our messages to our employer groups and our clients is really, this is a stressful time for our employee participants, and we want to be compassionate, we want to be reasonable, we want to be able to listen to them, and we also just want to make sure that we're clear in our communications to employees, purely because you want to reduce and minimize any type of surprises that they might be happening.
And you want to make sure that you're communicating with them on a regular basis, that
Yes.
you're not just keeping them in the dark about what you're thinking about doing as an organization.
Right, absolutely. And there are resources out there. The World Health Organization, they've got their website, which is www.who.int. The CDC has a wealth of information as well. That's probably one of our first stops that we would recommend individuals to go to, and that's just www.cdc.gov. And it's interesting, it's because if you go onto the COVID-19 landing page, they do have specific links for employers. They've got a whole section called Resources for the Community, and there's chock full of information, posters, how to, wash your hands correctly, how to handle food inside the office, how to handle meetings, how to communicate. So I'd recommend for individuals to go there. And then also we've got the Arizona Department of Health Services. That's www.azdhs.gov. That's a good resource for employers to go to, and that's going to be a little bit more of a localized conversation with them.
One of the things I don't quite understand, Peter and Diana, is do some of these governors and so forth have some mystical person who's telling them that X number of people is okay, but add one more and it's not okay? Because you mentioned Governor Ducey, and he had suggested 10 people.
Yeah, I think Trump came out with that originally.
And then some
yesterday.
are saying 50 people. I don't know where these numbers come from. Are they just playing the odds? Is that what they're doing?
Well, the CDC guidelines right now is 50 people or less in an area for social distancing purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they really want people to isolate and make sure that you're not spreading it, because what they're saying with this coronavirus in particular is that it is one person can spread it to 50 people versus the flu where one person may spread it to 5 people. So it's a higher ratio of spreading it.
Right.
So
Which
we're
really-
just kind of playing the odds to say,
Yeah.
5 is a lot safer than 10. Right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if there's a mystical person, but it's really all based upon kind of shortening that peak virus, shortening the bell curve, and a lot of it is just for our medical services. The hospitals, the urgent cares, emergency rooms. They've got limited capacity, and so if we can kind of slow down the contagion of the virus, then that's going to help the healthcare system at least kind of operate at capacity versus overcapacity.
You said one of the things you were going to talk to us about, and Diana's going to join in on this too, is people working at home, which has got to be increasing dramatically right now. So what do? Do you tell people, okay, grab your laptop, go home, and
Right,
get
good luck.
to work? I mean,
Happy St. Patty's Day!
there have to be some guidelines for that.
Yeah. Do you want to take that? Or?
Well, there are guidelines, but I think that hopefully organizations had some some parameters in place already on how to manage that. Do they have their firewalls in place? Have they, those employees that can work at home, do they have the proper setup at home? Do they have the dual screens if that's what they need? Do they have a proper phone line? Do they have reliable internet service right now? And then making sure that they understand that this isn't just free time. You don't get to like take naps and watch, TV at
Binge your
home.
Netflix.
Yeah, binge Netflix isn't happening right now. We still have to work our core office hours. So making sure that they're tracking that, or there's a way to track that employees are online and doing the work that they need to do every day.
And checking in with their managers, and actually having the managers and leadership checking in appropriately with, I guess we call them subordinates, isn't it?
Yes.
I guess that's the technical term. So yeah, I mean, hopefully there's just, you're kind of transitioning away from, or not transitioning away, but transitioning into the same standards that you've set up when they're actually working in the office. It's just that they're now remotely, if they can, and that could be tricky too, because there may be individuals that might have that long word.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
I should have put a $10 word next to that one. It was so funny when I tripped up Mark one time on a long word, or any other type of relevant disability, because there's also rules that we have to think about. And I know Diana's going to talk a little bit about the stuff that's passing through the House on the federal level, as well as going into the Senate. But there are the ADA. Some employers have to be thinking about reasonable accommodations if there is going to be some social distancing or work from home, and the individual doesn't have the ability of working from home. They have to be cognizant of what box they have to work in from those standards.
In Washington, it seems like they're throwing everything against the wall, and most of it is sticking right now. I even saw this morning there is a proposal to just send all of us $1,000 check.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've never heard of anything like that in this country before.
Yeah, well, I'll let you take what's happening in the bill side, because that's an interesting change from where like FMLA is changing down to small employer groups.
Yes, and so it passed in the House on Saturday, and it was the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, and it's HR 6201, and it's changing how employers will have to manage if an employee is sick. There's two different big pieces of it. The first one is the FMLA leave expansion, which currently is, employers of 50 or more employees. This change will make it for any employer that has 500 or less employees. So if you have one employee, you're going to be held to the standard. And employees will be eligible after 30 days of service. So it's new employees as well as your long-term employees.
Does it remove like the 75-mile radius?
Yes, it removes all of the parameters.
Small employers down to one employee will be subject to this with employees that have been hired for at least 30 days.
Correct.
And so what are their new responsibilities?
To provide 12 weeks of paid job protected leave versus unpaid, which is what the current FMLA standard provides. And it's for if I'm sick and have to be quarantined because of symptoms, or if I'm caring for someone in my family that has been quarantined based on the recommendations, or for school closures.
Really?
So if an employee has a child that has no place to go because school has been closed, and all of the the daycare facilities have been closed, they are also eligible for this paid FMLA leave.
Wow.
With all of this going on right now and changes potentially happening soon, it's not going to be a case where they're going to send you an email or call you up on the phone and say, hey, we made some changes. It seems incumbent upon the business owner to find out about this almost on a daily basis now.
Absolutely.
And if that's true, where do they go to find out?
Well, we'd like them to go to Arcwood HR.
Is that right?
To call me.
Imagine that. And how do they do that?
Probably our best way to contact us. No, but in all seriousness, there is a lot of information out there. And we are pushing a lot of information out to the employer groups that we're working with, just trying to keep them on top of things. And, some of the things that, I was just kind of envisioning when Diana was talking about some of the new responsibilities. If anybody is actually driving to work right now, they're probably banging their fist on the steering wheel, because if I'm a small employer of 5 employees and I've got to provide paid leave, that's a front end load. How do I afford doing that? And I think, are there some tax credits?
There's supposed to be tax credits, and and it's towards the Social Security taxes that an employer pays on an employee's behalf. But if that doesn't cover the amount of money that you may be outputting, the government's then going to send you a check
Right.
at some point. How they're going to manage that, they don't know yet.
And it hasn't actually been passed through. but-
No,
Yeah, but
Senate
give
is
them-
still looking at
Give
it.
them time, and I'm sure they won't figure it out.
Exactly.
So anyway, I have one question. Let's see what time. We have time. We have time. One more question for you, Diana. Let's suppose I'm running a small company, and Peter comes to me and he says, Diana is acting a little weird today. She's got this hacking cough, and I say, I bet she ought to go home. And you say, no, I feel fine. Can I force you to go home? And if so, are there any legal repercussions against me for doing that?
Right now, the CDC is saying yes, and the government is saying send them home. If someone is exhibiting symptoms, send them home and then give them the information of your telemedicine providers, or have them call their own doctors, because they shouldn't just walk into the emergency room or just walk into an urgent care. They need to call first so that we're not overwhelming things, and determine if the symptoms that they have are actually coronavirus, or if it's a cold or allergies, because that's happening all over everywhere right now.
Right.
Now that it's spring,
Right.
the flowers are blooming and everyone's got sniffles, so you just have to be careful. But yeah, if someone is exhibiting the symptoms, send them home.
What if they say that they're actually caring for somebody at their house that's exhibiting the symptoms?
You need to send them home as well.
So you can kind of, it's the whole social distancing, is that
The
you
whole
absolutely
social
can, huh?
Correct.
Interesting.
Well, I got to tell you, I apologize for my part of this segment this morning because Mark is
no,
not
it's
here.
been
But
fantastic.
you guys are great. This has been a lot of fun and a lot of information there. And once again, let's tell everybody, if they run a business, there's a lot of things you need to know to run a
There are
business.
so many things.
And to get a hold of you at Arcwood, what do we do again?
Our best probably, well, we have two different ways. We have obviously a phone number, 602-726-6280. And then, what's your extension? I just know it by heart. Are you 8, 7?
8.
8? Diana's extension 8. Well, we have, the phone tree will tell you. That was embarrassing. Can we edit that out of live radio? Is that available?
Now, that definition of live prevents that from happening.
But then also our email address, which is just info at arcwood.com, arcwood.com. Certainly our website has all of our information as well. So there's multiple ways to reach out to us, and it's just kind of going back to the resources, CDC, Secretary of State, going to Governor Ducey's office's website, just because there's a lot of information that would be available, and I think the resources that we want to have our employers, or just your listeners are going to be the ones that are going to be run by the government, because they're going to be more factual, they're going to be removing a lot of the emotional aspect of it, which we do see on some of the other public websites. And Ducey's executive order did have a change to how they're covering the telemedicine, how they're covering the tests. All the insurance companies sent out communications just actually earlier this week and last week to all the participants. But if there's a participant that didn't receive anything that was talking about changes at the coverage level, just visit the carrier's website, because they're going to have that posted there and how the benefits have kind of improved for the situation.
Fantastic. Peter Rowe, Diana Durham, thank you both for coming in this
Thank you,
morning and
Ken.
keeping us
Thank
up
you.
to date.
And happy St. Patty's Day. I like how you have the green lettering in your shirt.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day.